So, lots has happened.
Yeah.
Um, on the one hand, of course, there's Lydia's elopement. On the other hand, there is Elizabeth is now clearly interested in Darcy. So,
Mhm.
why do you think Elizabeth changed her mind?
Um, I mean, everything, just according to the letter, everything she thought about Darcy was basically almost false. He still did that thing with like Bingham and Jane, but at least it had some sort of good reason. That was like the only thing that I was kind of like still not too convinced about. But I think it's awesome that everything's coming together finally.
Yeah, I would admit the Bingley and Jane situation doesn't seem completely resolved. That is,
No.
I mean, with respect to Wickham, clearly he's a bad guy. So
Hmm.
clearly Darcy was correct.
Yeah.
And clearly Elizabeth was wrong. So on that
Yes.
point, but I guess so. Yes, on the factual things, Wickham's bad guy, Darcy right, Elizabeth wrong. Bingley and Jane not quite resolved. But what about the notion of Elizabeth just didn't like him initially? Are we not, should we just not take that too seriously, or she kind of overcome came the insults, or
Like Darcy.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I think that's resolved because when Wickham's younger sister, I think it was one of the other sisters, was trying to like insult Elizabeth in front of Darcy because she knows that, or because she thought that Elizabeth was like competition for Darcy, for her. She was like, well, didn't you like not find her? No, she was saying how like unhandsome she looks and like how all her features are simply ordinary and like not brilliant and I don't know, stuff like that. And then he goes, well, basically he says, well, I disagree. She's like one of the most handsomest, beautifulest girls that I've known. They say handsome for both men and women, which I thought find
yeah.
interesting because I don't know.
It's just a change in
But
usage. 200 years ago, they spoke different. Words
yeah,
have the meaning of words evolves over time. Also, they're different regionally.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah.
so that's evidence that Darcy is now attracted to Elizabeth unambiguously. But why should Elizabeth? I mean, why not Elizabeth? Do you think Elizabeth kind of had the potential to like him from the start, or has kind of been slowly liking him all along?
Slowly. Oh, I think she only started like considering him after the letter, but I don't think could have ever worked, even if just assuming we still had the very first interaction because again, she holds grudges, and that was like a really ugly thing. But now that he's kind of made up for it,
Mhm.
and it was a long time ago, um, I think she kind of sees past that now.
Agreed. And I guess it seems to me as if simply him giving her a lot of attention, there have been lots of situations where he's extremely attentive to her, and she seems to, I would say, like the fact that he's extremely attentive to her. Do you
Yeah,
think that alone is kind of enough to change her heart?
a little bit, yeah. And you can also tell what she's feeling when she visits um his place. I forgot the name. There's lots of names.
Kimberly, I
But
believe.
yeah, Pemberley. I think she was like, oh, and to think I could have been like mistress of these rooms or something like that. So, she's like thinking about it a little bit, maybe
Well,
regretting it a little bit.
exactly. And I guess then a cynical view would be Elizabeth is in part swayed. She knew he was wealthy before, but it
Yeah,
sounds like a pretty spectacular place. Do you think she is in part swayed by actually seeing Pemberley? Or do you
a
think she
little
was
bit, a little bit.
okay?
Because I feel like most of the marriages are in this book are based on wealth and like nobility and things like that. Like, for example, the Mr. and Mrs. Collins, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think he even said to Elizabeth, like kind of passive aggressively, oh, like you missed out on. Or no, he was saying passive aggressively, I'm so sorry, like our living is so humble, but it's more than you have, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's very
So
much about wealth and status for sure. Would you, given all of this, would you say that in some sense Darcy and Elizabeth love each other?
I think Darcy does, but and Elizabeth is warming up, but I wouldn't call, I mean, I don't know what their standard of love is, but I wouldn't call it love just yet.
Got it. And I'm not disagreeing, but why would you say Darcy yes, but Elizabeth no exactly?
Well, because we know that Darcy has liked Elizabeth and been in love with her for a little while, but Elizabeth has just found out that he's not a terrible person, and she's still, even though she's processed most of that, she's still going through her emotions, I think.
Got it. Um, I would say the other thing about Darcy is, in his proposal, he, was so insulting about, hey, look, I'm eager to marry you and you're so low class I shouldn't, or something like that's not.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's very,
when he comes across them at Pemberley, it seems as if that's either much less of a problem or not a problem. Is that what you were getting?
yes, yeah.
So yeah, it seems as if, well, I guess then the question is, there is this huge concern that Lydia's elopement will so discredit the family that now there's no chance of Darcy being interested in marriage. What's your take on all of that?
No, it's not going to happen. The plot armor is too thick, in my opinion.
Did you
They
s- did you say the plot armor?
is too thick. Yeah.
I, I
Um,
I I like that metaphor. I've not heard that before. Did you come up with
thank
that
you.
expression, the plot armor?
Oh no, I've heard it online. You can't kill off this character because of their main character, or like, oh, they've got plot armor. I think that's a saying, but I don't know. It just seemed right.
It's a
But
it, yeah, it's a great expression, by the way. I totally get it. But go ahead.
cool. Um, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that maybe for the other sister, there's Lydia and then Kitty, because Lydia ran away and then Kitty's got no prospects. So just because there's no one in love with her, I think it's gonna be hard for her. But I think Jane and Bingley are gonna work out, and Darcy and Elizabeth are gonna work out.
Got it.
Maybe
And yeah, what do you make of the subplot of Lydia eloping with um what's his name? Oh, I want to say
Wickham.
Wickham, thank you. Um, is that a surprise or does that seem consistent with what we know about Lydia and Wickham? What's your take on that?
It's consistent with their character, but I didn't see it coming. But when I read about it, I knew that there wasn't going to be a marriage without some like bribe from Wickham, because
Hmm.
that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah,
And I remember there was some confusion between the Bennets of like, oh, he's going for like such a low price,
yeah,
right? Why would he
yeah.
do that? Because Lydia is so low class.
Does it seem like, I mean, given that in our day and age, at least in, most circles, somebody eloping wouldn't be so devastating to the family. Does it kind of make sense to you that in that day and age, an elopement would be this devastating to the family?
Yeah, for sure. And before I read that part, I knew like elopement was like going away and getting married or whatever, but I didn't really realize it was like, oh, you could disgrace your family or whatever, like
Hmm.
based on like religion or just beliefs.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm sure then it was like 100 times bigger because there's like status and wealth, and
yeah.
it was 200 years ago. So
No, got it. And last time we talked about, the need for conflict in a story, and part of the conflict is this misunderstanding between Elizabeth and Darcy. Is it fair to say the whole Lydia elopement subplot is, additional conflict added by Jane Austen to increase the drama of the story?
yes, because we're like 15 chapters away from the end, and there's got to be like drama to keep you reading, and then oh, at the end everything's gonna be solved, and or sometimes not, but most of the time everything gets solved at the end.
Would you say that it's fair to say that things kind of sped up in terms of dramatic pace and excitement in the last 10 chapters or so?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yes.
I think I don't, I haven't read any contemporary recent books, but when I think of 19th century novels, often I find that they're kind of slow in the beginning, and then things, because, there's kind of setting up the characters and the scene and all of that, and then boom, something hits and they start rolling along. Is that kind of a fair description of this?
Yeah, I think so. In the beginning, I feel like it was just lots of balls and um meetings at different estates that I couldn't like figure out whether it was the district or the actual house and who it belonged to. But
Hmm.
now there's stuff happening.
Yeah, there are a lot of great 19th century novels, and we might read one. a different one after this. I don't know. Have you thought about, next week we'll finish off this one. Have you thought at all about what you might want to read next?
No, not really. I will though.
Okay. We were going into biology for a little while. We did Homer. There's thousands, infinite number for practical purposes. So you might think about it. And
Okay.
tell me a little bit about the tatami, you know, advertisements and your role in that.
Okay. So I am like sponsored by Tatami for Jiu-Jitsu, so they like send me packages of clothes and like just things to wear at tournaments or events to represent them. So basically I get free keys and rash guards and things like that, which is awesome. Um, I know, or they're all really nice over there. They treat me really well, even though they do like have a lot of kid sponsors, and I feel like it's a great community. Me and two other people from my gym are sponsored by them, and they are launching a new gi for the upcoming gi season, which starts now or maybe next month. And since they want to sell a lot before then, so that people wear it at the tournaments. So they did like an ad campaign and they starred me and the two other people from my gym. So I was in a lot of videos. And I got like six noogies and it was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
Terrific. Well, congratulations. It's very cool to see you as, yeah, the star.
Thank you.
And have a good week, and we'll see you next week to finish off Pride and Prejudice.
Sounds good. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care. Bye.